Welcome to this video class. This is Pravina here to teach you class 6 lesson 4 science sorting materials into groups. In the last videos, that is in lesson 1 and lesson 2, you have studied that there exists a variety in the food that we eat and also the clothes that we wear. So here in this lesson you are going to learn about the different kinds of objects that you can see and how they are sorted based on their properties. Just let us move on to the lesson now. Yes, sorting materials into groups. To prepare a particular kind of food, we need ingredients. So, to make that dish, either a single ingredient or two ingredients are required to prepare a particular kind of dish. In the same way, the objects are made out of materials. So, as to make or prepare a particular kind of objects, either one materials or two materials are required. So, what is the main difference between an object and material? So, materials are used to prepare an object. That materials may be one or two. So, an object is a thing that is made of one or more material. So, here in this example, I have noted wooden chair. This is an object. So, what are all the materials that are required to make a wooden chair? That is wood. So, the material that is required to prepare an object wooden chair is only wood. So, here we are using only one material to prepare that chair. But whereas few other objects, they can be made out of two or three materials. If you consider a pencil, just hold the pencil in your hand, try to watch it. So here what are all the materials that the pencil is made of? It consists of wood. The outer body cover is made of wood. And inside that, so what is the material that is used to write on a paper? That is graphite. It is made of graphite. And also at the end you can see a rubber which is fitted in a metal. So four materials are used here to make an object that is pencil. So what are all the materials required here? Wood, metal, rubber and graphite. And the object is pencil. So here to make a pencil, four materials are used. So an object is nothing but that is made of one or more material. So here in this table you can see the different kinds of objects and the materials that can be made of. For example, the objects such as table and chair, they can be made out of materials such as wood, plastic and iron. The second object mentioned here is toys. So, the toys that you play, what are they made of? They can be made of materials such as wood, plastic and they can even be made with paper. Then the third object is utensils. So, these mostly the objects which are used in the kitchen. So, what are these utensils made of? They are made of plastic or iron or aluminium. Different kinds of materials are used to make the utensils. That is, these are the objects. Then coming to the materials such as cotton, nylon or silk. These are the different types of fibers, isn't it? So these are used to make a particular kind of cloth. What we call it as a cotton cloth or nylon cloth or silk cloth. So the materials may be of different types and that where the object is made of. Okay, so here the materials are used to make an object. So it might be one material or two materials are used to prepare a particular kind of object. Now let us know the difference, what are objects and what are materials. So as we already discussed, objects are made up of materials and these materials have got different properties. Based on that, we can prepare the object. Materials used to make an object, they mostly depend upon the properties of materials and also purpose for which the object will be used. For example, if you take a tumbler where we can store water in it, obviously which is made of plastic so that it can retain the water. Imagine that if the same tumbler is made out of cotton cloth, when you add a mug of water to that, does it retain the water? It doesn't, right? So it is completely based. So that preparation of the object, it is based on the property of the material, that it has to serve the purpose. So the properties of material and also the purpose for which the object will be used. Yes. Now these different kinds of objects, they have to be grouped. So on what basis is this grouping done? Based on the similarities and differences. Each material have got a different property, isn't it? Plastic is different from wood, wood is different from glass, glass is different from metals, isn't it? So based on their property, based on their similar property, grouping is done. So placing similar things together is called as grouping. Even when we group these items based on the different properties. Let us discuss each in detail now. So the first property is appearance. Based on the appearance of the object, let us divide the objects into two different groups. So some objects are lustrous and whereas some other objects are non-lustrous. So what do you mean by lustrous? So those materials or objects which have got a shining property are called as lustrous, and those which do not have that shining property are non-lustrous. For example, if you just see the objects such as gold or silver or different kinds of material, they have got a shining property. They are lustrous in nature. But mostly as they are exposed to atmosphere, when they are exposed to air or water or moisture in the atmosphere, you can see that they get rusted. In the sense where they just lose the shining property. The upper layer of that material or metal will lose that shining property. That can be removed by using a sandpaper. Yes, and mostly you can see this view in an iron shop. When you just go to an iron shop, you can see that when they cut the fresh surface of a metal, you can see that it shines. So the fresh cut surface of any metal will show that shining property. So there are few objects which are lustrous, and mostly all metals are lustrous. And there are, on the other hand, there are few objects where they don't have a shining property, so we call them as non-lustrous. For example, if you take a piece of wood or a piece of paper, they do not shine, they do not have that shining property, so they are called as non-lustrous. So here in this picture, you don't get confused. So the lustrous objects are those which have got the shining property, and the non-lustrous objects are those which do not have the shining property. And the examples for lustrous objects are gold and silver, and the examples for non-lustrous objects are a piece of log of wood or a piece of paper. So the first is appearance. So the first object, the property that we can see in the object is based on their appearance, we divided the object into two different groups. They are lustrous and non-lustrous. Yes, and the second property, based on their hardness, the objects are divided into two different groups. Some might be soft and some objects are hard. So how can we say that an object is soft? Just hold the object in your hand and try to compress that. So if you can compress that object, you can say that object is soft, and if you cannot compress that, you say that the object is hard. So based on the hardness, the objects are divided into two different groups based on their hard nature and based on their soft nature. If the objects can be compressed, we consider them as soft, and if the objects, if we cannot compress, they are called as hard. And the next property is based on the solubility in water. So you can see that few substances which get soluble in water and those few substances which do not get soluble in water. So based on their solubility, where these substances are divided into two different groups, they are soluble and insoluble. For example, salt and sugar. You just take a spoon of salt and sugar and add it in a glass of water and stir it. Can you find any crystals in the water now? No, they disappear. The reason is that they are getting soluble in water. So these substances have got the soluble nature. On the other hand, you just take a glass of water and add few sand grains to it. you can see that these sand grains get settled down at the bottom of the glass. Or you just crunch a piece of chalk and add it in the water, you can see that those pieces float over the water. They don't get dissolved in it. So based on their solubility of the substances, the substances are divided into soluble and insoluble ones. Yes, next is the solubility. Let us observe that in liquids. So do all the liquids dissolve in water? Yes, so based on that property, all the liquids are divided into soluble liquids and insoluble liquids. For example, in a glass of water, if you add lemon juice, it dissolves in it, it gets soluble. We can't differentiate the lemon and the water there. Or if you add a glass of milk and glass of water together, you cannot differentiate the water and the milk there. So the milk is getting soluble in water there. So the liquids which get soluble are called as the soluble liquids. And on the other hand, there are few liquids which doesn't dissolve in water. You just take a glass of water and add oil to that. Now just stir it with a spoon and observe whether the liquid these liquids get dissolved, whether these oil is getting dissolved in the water. Yes, you can observe that these oils, they float over the surface of the soil. So these materials or substances are not getting dissolved in the water. So these liquids are called as insoluble liquids. So based on the solubility, the liquids are divided into two different types. They are soluble liquids and insoluble liquids. And that property, even you can see that in gases. Yes children, do all the gases have the capability of dissolving in water? We are the terrestrial animals. We can inhale the gas oxygen as it is present in the atmosphere. But whereas, think about the organisms which are living in water. We call them as aquatic organisms. Even they too need oxygen like us people. For their survival, they require oxygen gas. But where do they get the gases from? In the sense, these gases or the oxygen molecules, they get dissolved in the water. So all the gases have the property of solubling in water. So these gases being utilized by the aquatic organisms. Yes. Now another property, based on whether the object float over the surface, based on the flotation actually. So whether they get floated over the water or whether they get sink to the bottom of the water. So we have seen that few objects or substances are insoluble. So these insoluble substances, they can float or either they get sink to the bottom of the water. Just take a glass of water. In that, when you add leaves, you can see these leaves get float over the water. The reason is that they have got less weight when compared to that of the water. It is due to that reason they float over the surface of the water. So any object, you just try with the few objects, you just gather at your home and try to add to that to the water, glass of water. You see that few objects gets float over the water and few objects get sink to the bottom of the water. And the other hand, when you take a hand fist of stones and add it to the glass of water, what do you observe? You observe that the stones get settled down at the bottom of the water. And if you add a keychain, even that, as these materials have got more weight when compared to that of the water, they sink to the bottom of the water. So this is another property based on the flotation in water. So these are the different kinds of properties that is where the objects are being segregated or being divided into different groups. Thank you. Shall meet in the next video.